Coronation Street's Betsy Swain, the discovery that changed everything, and what happens next. She walked into a wedding celebration laughing, drink in hand, without a single clue that her life was about to change forever. Minutes later, Betsy Swain would be standing over a dead body on the cobbles of Weatherfield, and Coronation Street would never quite be the same. If you think you know what happened that night, think again, because the truth behind this shocking discovery has been building for months, and the fallout is only just beginning. Stay with us, because this is the story every Corrie fan is talking about right now. If you've been even loosely following Coronation Street over the last year, you'll know that teenager Betsy Swain, played by rising star Sydney Martin, has quietly become one of the most important young characters on the cobbles. What might look like a single dramatic moment, a body found in the dark, a scream that pierces the night, is actually the culmination of an extraordinary run of storylines that have tested Betsy again and again. And now, with Weatherfield's biggest mystery of the year unraveling around her, fans want to know exactly what happened to Betsy, how she ended up at the center of a murder investigation, and what on earth comes next for a girl who just cannot seem to catch a break. Let's rewind a little, because to understand why this moment hits so hard, you need to understand who Betsy Swain actually is. She's the daughter of D.S. Lisa Swain, Weatherfield's dependable police detective, and Becky Swain, Lisa's late wife, who is for years believed to have died in tragic circumstances. Betsy arrived on the cobbles as Lisa's rebellious, streetwise teenager, and almost immediately she made her mark by trying to blackmail none other than Carla Connor. After witnessing an incident at the factory, cheeky, opportunistic Betsy told Carla she'd keep quiet in exchange for a job at Underworld. It was a classic Corrie introduction, cheeky and chaotic, but it set the tone for a character who has never been afraid to push her luck, even when the people around her are far more dangerous than she realizes. Since then, Betsy has been through an emotional ringer that would break most adults, let alone a teenager. She got herself tangled up in a counterfeit clothing scam at the factory alongside Beth Tinker. She was blackmailed and threatened by the show's most chilling villain of recent memory, Joel Deering, who coerced her into ordering dangerous, illegal labor-inducing drugs, the very drugs he would later use to hurt Lauren Bolton. Police found messages on Joel's laptop where he threatened to kill Betsy if she didn't do exactly as he said. It's the kind of storyline that stops you in your tracks. A young girl manipulated and endangered by a predator hiding in plain sight, and it left Lisa Swain, her own mother, so emotionally compromised that she was actually taken off Joel's case entirely. And that's before you even get to the Corriedale crash back in January, when Betsy was caught up in a multi-vehicle pileup caused by the scheming of her own supposedly dead mother, Becky, whose shock return from the grave sent shockwaves through the entire Swain and Connor household. Betsy has survived a car speeding towards her on her own birthday, watched relationships in her family implode and reform, discovered devastating secrets about her mom's past, and somehow kept getting back up. So when Coronation Street's producers decided it was time for Betsy to headline one of the biggest mystery storylines the soap has ever attempted, longtime fans weren't exactly surprised. If anyone on the cobbles was destined to stumble into the middle of a murder, it was always going to be her. So here's where the current headline-grabbing story actually begins. Back in February, Coronation Street aired something genuinely unusual for a British soap, a special flash-forward episode. It opened with a shaken, tearful Betsy being interviewed by police, only for the show to reveal that this interview was taking place in the future, after the wedding of her mum Lisa and her stepmother-to-be Carla Connor. As the episode unfolded, viewers learned that on the night of that wedding, Betsy would stumble across a dead body somewhere on the streets of Weatherfield. The scene then rewound to the present day and named 5 possible victims, each a character who had been quietly making enemies across the cobbles. Ruthless Carl Webster, coercive and abusive Theo Silverton, secretive newcomer Jodie Ramsey, manipulative groomer Megan Walsh, and fierce matriarch Maggie Driscoll, a woman who, viewers had just learned, once killed her own husband. For weeks, this became appointment viewing. Producer Kate Brooks described it as a "who have they done it to, not a whodunit," promising that the victim would be someone who had created a lot of waves in the street. Fans dove headfirst into detective mode, dissecting every scene for hidden clues. There were viral theories about fireworks foreshadowing Meghan's downfall, evidence from ITV's own This Morning viewer poll showing that a striking 44% of respondents believed villainous Theo would be the one to die, with Meghan and Carl trailing behind. Social media exploded with debate, and Inside Soap even ran an exclusive with actress Pauline McLynn, who plays Maggie, teasing that any of the 5 suspects could just as easily turn out to be the killer rather than the victim, and hinting that there might even be more than one death before the dust settled. Then, on the night of Lisa and Carla's wedding, it finally happened on screen. Betsy, celebrating with her friend Lauren after the ceremony, wandered off into the Weatherfield night in high spirits. What followed was one of the most tense sequences the show has produced in years, a piercing scream ringing out across the cobbles while the newlyweds, blissfully unaware, sat down for their delayed wedding meal. Carla brushed the sound off as foxes. Viewers knew better. Betsy had found a body near the scaffolding, someone she recognized, and the discovery left her utterly traumatized, setting the stage for the police interview fans had already glimpsed months earlier in that flash forward. The identity of the victim has been kept tightly under wraps by the show, deliberately fueling weeks of fan speculation, but what's clear is the emotional toll this has taken on Betsy herself. She's not just a witness in a police procedural subplot. She's a teenage girl who has now watched someone die, who is being formally questioned by detectives, and who is once again caught in the crossfire of adult chaos that she never asked to be part of. It's a heavy echo of everything she's already survived, from Joel's threats to the Corrie crash to her own mother's shocking resurrection, and fans have been quick to point out that this could be the moment the show finally slows down to properly examine the psychological weight Betsy has been carrying. Entertainment outlets have already predicted a dark mental health twist for the character in the aftermath, with viewers online expressing genuine concern for how much trauma one teenager can reasonably be expected to shoulder before something breaks. The reaction from the Corrie fanbase has been huge. Forums and social media have been flooded with viewers dissecting every possible clue, arguing over whether Meghan's grooming storyline with Will Driscoll was building to her comeuppance, whether Theo's campaign of coercive control against his fiancé Todd Grimshaw was about to catch up with him, or whether Maggie Driscoll's murderous past was about to repeat itself. Actress Catherine Tilsley, who plays Eva Price, even stoked the fire in an interview, admitting that her character could easily be pushed into dark territory if she discovered the truth about Meghan and Will, telling press bluntly, "I'd be scared of Eva." That kind of cast commentary only added rocket fuel to an already blazing fan theory machine. So, what does all of this mean for Betsy going forward? For one thing, this storyline is clearly positioning her as one of Coronation Street's central young characters heading into the back half of 2026. Behind the scenes, actor Liam McShane, who plays Dylan Wilson, has confirmed that a major new storyline is coming for Dylan and Betsy's relationship, describing it to Inside Soap as a big 2026 for his character and teasing that the coming plot will be very coming of age, tackling a sensitive subject in the way Corrie so often does best. Given everything Betsy has just been through, it's easy to imagine that storyline intertwining directly with the trauma of finding a body and being pulled into a police investigation, giving Sydney Martin some genuinely meaty material to work with as an actress. There's also the wider ripple effect on the Swain-Connor family. Lisa and Carla's wedding was already shadowed by chaos before Becky's dramatic return from the dead nearly destroyed their relationship for good. Producer Kate Brooks has confirmed that, with Becky's manipulation finally exposed, the couple known affectionately by fans as Swarla are being steered toward reconciliation and a happier future together. But how does a newly rebuilt marriage cope when the bride's daughter has just witnessed a murder on their wedding night? It's the kind of dramatic irony Coronation Street thrives on, and it's likely to keep Lisa torn between her duties as a police officer and her instincts as a mother desperate to protect her traumatized daughter. As for who Betsy actually found dead that night, the show has been remarkably tight-lipped, drip-feeding clues through red herrings, threats, confessions, and confrontations involving all 5 suspects across the spring. Whatever the final reveal turns out to be, one thing is certain: the fallout won't stay contained to a single storyline. A death of this magnitude on Coronation Street tends to ripple outward for months, dragging in extended family members, reshaping alliances, and forcing long-buried secrets into the light. Given Kate Brooks' comments about this being one of the most complex, multi-character stories she has ever produced for the show, expect court appearances, shifting suspicion, and probably at least one more gut-punch twist before Weatherfield fully moves on. To sum it all up, Betsy Swain has gone from cheeky blackmailing teenager to one of the emotional cornerstones of Coronation Street's biggest mystery event in years. From surviving Joel Deering's terrifying manipulation, to the Corrie crash, to her mother's shock resurrection, and now to discovering a body on her mom's wedding night, this is a character who has been quietly carrying an enormous amount of dramatic weight, and the show finally seems ready to give her story the spotlight it deserves. With a new coming-of-age storyline alongside Dylan on the horizon, and a murder investigation still unfolding around her, Betsy's journey through 2026 is shaping up to be one of the most talked-about stories on British soap television. So that's everything we know so far about what happened to Betsy Swain, and where her story goes from here. Who do you think she found dead on the cobbles that night, and how do you think this is going to affect her relationship with Dylan going forward? Let us know your theories down in the comments below. We genuinely want to hear them. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into all things Weatherfield, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Coronation Street update. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.